thoughts on the field?
Well, the Coven team has brought a triple EOS setup, Oneros, triple Vexer, 2 Ishkers, Malediction carries, Maulus. Seems like no matter how many drone boats you ban, we can find more. And they are facing a triple EOS Proteus, double Vexer Navy, Hyena, which I don't think we've seen many of, Maulus, and Punisher. So what are your thoughts on this match?
I mean, like you said, kind of drones everywhere is pretty standard by now, I guess. The Coven team brought helos last week, and they got them banned out by footwork, so they've just kind of made an adjustment, but stuck with the same kind of more like traditional core setup, whereas footwork has this more tinkery setup. I don't really get it, actually. The Proteus is Logi, right? And they'll just kind of hover around him and let the drones do work, but I'm not sure how that'll go. I guess it did well for him last week, even though the setup has changed just a little bit by adding a little more of this support and having one less Navy Vexer. But we're underway now, and so we'll see, I guess.
It's definitely an interesting choice. When you add in smaller ships, you always run the risk of them getting volleyed. So that's always with a tinker type setup. If you're relying on not losing a ship, that's a big risk. We do see drones going both ways across the field. I see geckos, augmented hammerheads. The Hyena immediately stripped of its shields into armor there. Proteus will start having to do some work right now to talk about that volley.
Yeah, exactly, and yeah, like you say, it's adds a lot of vulnerability to these like short-handed tinker type setups. To add this little support, and it looks like it's going to hurt them right away by losing that Hyena, although he's recovered a bunch of his armor. He's actually tanking, pulling back almost all of it already. That's pretty awesome. In the meantime, they do have the Coven Oneros webbed. He's still moving really fast for now, probably drifting through that web, speeding up to like 1800, even though he was webbed just a second ago, and not taking any significant damage.
Whoa, and he is gone. He just, wow.
Ooh, that has to be Boundary.
That had to be Boundary. Yeah, they're about 100 and something out there. In fact, that Ishkur is 118 right now.
It looks like, wow, I didn't even see that, but it looks like the Oneros was just burning away from these geckos and infiltrators as fast as he could, kind of in a straight line out of the arena, and just ran out of room. Whoops.
That is going to hurt them for sure. I mean, not only does it give a lot of points right up front, but having no lodging after the rest of the fight. That Vexer immediately into armor now. Meanwhile, Storm and Bloodfeather's Proteus is actually struggling there. He's taking a fair bit of armor damage at half armor. We'll see if they can crack him. They might have a shot here.
Yeah, and I mean, that's actually a huge victory for Footwork to have them give up on the Hyena and have to switch targets. It's always a good sign for the Tinker to not lose anything at the very start of the match when the other team has the most kind of on the field in terms of DPS. And it looks like the Proteus is struggling a little bit, but hanging in there for now, hovering about half armor. And he's, of course, getting a lot of repair bot action from the other ships on the Footwork team and cap transfer as well. So he's doing just fine, and they have killed a Vexer on the Coven team.
But I think it's fair to say that there's going to need to be a miracle to come back from this now for the Coven team. Really, Ministry of Inappropriate Footworks, they're sitting pretty. They're facing less DPS with every ship that explodes. That Vexer that goes down takes quite a bit of DPS off the field. The second Vexer is low armor, and we're going to see him go next. And I presume they'll probably start picking off EOSs after that. Really, at this point, the Proteus should have no more trouble tanking, I don't believe.
It hurts so bad for them to have lost that Oneros due to the boundary violation. I mean, you can see the Footwork DPS isn't all that high, and it's taking them a little bit to chew through these Vexers. With the Logi there, it might have been way more time they had to figure out how to attack the Tinker by either killing drones or getting in closer to put new pressure or something. But now they just don't have time, and this Proteus is tanking more and more easily as they lose DPS.
Yeah, certainly. I think you're right. They did have a very good chance with the Oneros on the field, but they could get in there and brawl even if necessary. But against this now, they just can't. There is a Punisher Agumon on the Ministry team that is going into structure. Doesn't seem to be in range for reps, so there is going to be some blood drawn by the Coven team. It looks like here he's into structure again now.
Yeah, that Punisher acting as tackle, I believe. You can see he's out in the middle of the Coven team. Probably running out there to catch Vexers and slow them down for that fleet of drones, but that of course puts him too far away from the Logi and he goes down, but that's not a huge loss really at all, and it probably won't make any difference whatsoever.
So one incredible thing to point out that you probably can sort of see on the UI there is how little structure that Hyena actually survived with. Hovering over the target, getting the little tooltip there shows him with 2% structure. On a Hyena, that's only got to be single-digit points. That's really incredible.
And another ship down, Ishkur this time for the Coven team. And yeah, I wonder how much difference that makes, having... they didn't really need the webs from the Hyena to kill that Oneros. I mean, he had to, run away as fast as he could, but that means he was under enough pressure even without the webs that they were able to apply damage. I wonder I wonder if they kill the support, if they kill the Hyena and the Punisher early in the match, if things had gone a little bit better, if that makes any difference at all, really. Probably some, or Footwork wouldn't be bringing those ships, I guess, but...
Right, you'd imagine the Oneros wouldn't have been so hard-pressed to run away as much as he was if there wasn't as much support tackling him. But Proteus has taken a significant damage there. I wonder if he burned out a repper, or...
yeah, that's interesting. He
was just maybe trolling a little bit.
Yeah, bringing it all back really quickly. There's still a lot of damage on the field for Coven, of course. I mean, 3 Eoses, Ishkar, and a Vexor is not insignificant, but he was able to tank it no problem when they had, like, 3 other ships, so he should be just fine unless, like you said, he makes a big mistake, like burning out some hardeners or reps, but he shouldn't even need to use heat at this point, so it'd be pretty weird for him to make a mistake like that. Of course, yesterday we saw, Logi accidentally go into reload for 60 seconds. That can happen if he's running an AAR, but I wouldn't expect anything like that to happen. In the meantime, Vexor going down for Coven, leaving them with just the 3 Eoses, and we've crossed halfway mark for the match. The Ministry of Inappropriate Footwork damage does seem pretty low. Even with that Hyena there to web stuff, it's taking them quite a while to chew through these ships.
Yeah, and it's remarkable how slow they are chewing through even just a Vexor there. Should have died a lot faster to 3 Eoses, but I guess he was kiting the drones out. You can see all these augmented, like kind of an odd mix of drones there. Geckos, Infiltrator 2s, I see some augmented. It's kind of a grab bag of drones that seem to be coming back in.
Yeah, it is interesting. They've mixed them with a lot of these armor maintenance bots. The Eoses are actually running a lot of heavy armor maintenance bots. So the actual amount of bandwidth left for DPS is pretty low while they have those rep bots out, and they're just leaving those out. I mean, at this point, either one would probably work. But yeah, the sort of DPS fleet, like you said, is mixed, and it's also fairly small. I mean, we really only see maybe 15 drones chasing their primary, so and with some of them being lights, so it's really not that much damage. But of course, with logistics off the field, it doesn't really matter.
One interesting to point out that we were seeing used in this tournament that really have been kind of a laughingstock in the past have been those the stasis webifier drones. I've seen them several times today, including in this match right now. We have some SW300s on the field, and I can remember a couple tournaments back, I don't remember which team it was, someone was using them and absolutely were ridiculed for it. So it's interesting to see that's changing the new meta as things develop. That Eos very slowly taking damage. He's at about 1/3 armor. Maulus, actually, on the kick team, is about to bleed into structure now. I wonder if the Proteus is asleep at the wheel or if the Maulus has got himself a little bit out of range.
Yeah, webbed and scrammed as well. He's probably going to go down. But again, no big impact there. Damps at this point not really doing anything all that important. Keeping the carries, maybe be a little closer to them or something, but that doesn't really matter. Yeah, the web drones are really interesting. They maybe are pretty obvious development for the meta where everybody's kiting all the time. I mean, with these drone setups, one of the big advantages is not having to get close to your opponents. And, if you really need to keep your whole team away from everything and depend on range for survival, tackling gets more complicated. And web drones are kind of a cheap way to handle it. I mean, other options would be like using recons or Lokis or something like that, but they're costing you so many points. And web drones, you can kind of thread in there with all of your damage and probably pays off pretty nicely in some situations.
Yeah, I think the fact that they are stacking penalized and the kind of does play into the reason they're not used more. But as far as just slowing something down a little bit, it's not bad to throw 1 or 2 out there for sure. So we have some more damage coming across for his ships, down to 2 Eos now. Ishkar at half armor, Maulus at half armor. The Hyena was getting pecked at for a while, but he's doing all right again.
Yeah, he is tackled again. So try for him one more time, but. At this point, basically just waiting for that clock. We're at just under 2 minutes to go, and I don't think that Footwork will be able to finish off this entire Coven team, but they will definitely be winning this match. You said those augmented drones were getting used, and it was actually Coven team using them. There's augmented Berserkers and Hammerheads all over, right around where the Footwork team is sitting. Footwork actually just going for Tech 2. There's a couple augmented Hammerheads there, but mostly going for just Tech 2 and Geckos.
Yeah, like I said, it's an odd mix. There's just all sorts of different kinds of drones out there. Like everybody's running something different. But
Eos into structure, gonna lose him for sure. And looks like they've got one of the frigs tackled as well.
Yeah, Malediction taking some significant damage now. I'm guessing that's him. Yeah, that Hyena. It's like a friend of mine did the math for me. Namamai sent me a message saying that the Hyena's got to be at about 6 hit points of structure.
Nice.
So there goes the Mollusk there that just vanished. So
Good job by that Logi Pilot. Show two examples in this match of how important like Logi Pilot skill is. Getting reps on that Hyena in time to keep him alive by just a couple hit points. And on the other side, Logi Pilot getting a little overwhelmed and flying straight out of the arena. It's not an easy job.
Absolutely, and honestly, not boundary violating is it's actually harder than people might think when you're being run down in something that needs not to be tackled, and you're just trying to get away as fast as you possibly can. You know, on TQ, you just hit your MWD and go. Malediction explodes there, but
I was gonna say it's
tournament arena. You don't have that option.
Right, it's a limitation you never have on TQ. I mean, range is really important, but it's always range relative to other ships. Or sometimes to a gate or something like that. But an invisible wall that kills you instantly is something that doesn't exist anywhere else. So adjusting to that, definitely not easy. And we are at time now. So with that, Ministry of Inappropriate Footwork takes another match with a Tinker setup off of Coven. Well played, and we'll be back in a few.